Hello, friends, and welcome back to another action-packed episode of the Nintengems podcast, the Nintendo podcast where we talk about games, both new and old, all the way from the NES up through the Switch. My name is Braden, and across from me here, I have my co-host,
Connor.
Hi, Connor.
What's up?
Hey, happy holidays.
You as well.
Sorry we've missed you again for all of December, but we're here to kind of wrap up a whole year's worth of Nintendo gaming up into one little
nugget.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It'll be great.
How would you describe the year 2020
Oh god.
in Nintendo gaming?
Oh, phew.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Almost as strange as you would
the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I want to say sparse, but that doesn't feel fair because, circumstances.
Yeah.
And sparse isn't even like a complaint. That's just like, frankly, I'm impressed kind of almost with how much we got
Sure.
for Nintendo this year, considering all the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I am content with how much content we got in terms of like games. Nintendo's reputation has been a little rocky this year.
Yeah.
Especially recently. There's like some controversy in the Smash community and such.
Shutting down tournaments, right?
Yeah, and like just kind of their image and their business practices being called into, PR issues being called into question. So for Nintendo itself, I mean, they might have been feeling the heat and they've been pretty turbulent. But as far as like me being a blind, optimistic consumer goes, it's been great.
It has.
Love it.
It's been a little strange. Lots of re-releases, ports. I don't know. It's definitely been like the year of the, I don't know, Switch port, I guess.
I kind of feel like that's been the Switch's lifespan generally.
Yeah.
In a way. But I do know what you mean.
I don't. Well,
what about you?
as we get into some of these categories, we've broken down this episode into some of our favorite games of the year, favorite retro, our gems, favorite gems we've covered, and then of course just how we've spent our time,
right,
basically.
Yeah. How would you describe 2020 for Nintendo?
I would say solid. I would say they have made the most out of a weird year for the rest of society. I do think it's felt a little lacking in first-party titles, original first-party titles.
Right, for sure.
And we'll get into it, and what 2021 may bring, some things that we may have been expecting for 2020 that will end up showing up in 2021.
True.
And so, we'll talk about that a little bit, but it's been solid. It's been good. I'm happy.
All things considered.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a year. So, should we get into our roundup?
Sure. What's first?
I think first, I got an email from Nintendo with a little link saying, hey, your year-end review is here. And I know Spotify did that and Facebook will do it. I'd never gotten one from Nintendo. So
yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, this is kind of a new thing. It's cool.
Yeah, it's very cute. And it kind of just broke down some of the different statistics from my year. And I sent it to Connor. He got it pulled up here. Should we compare?
Sure, yeah.
All right. And if you're playing at home, pull yours up. It's what's the link? It's Nintendo.com.
It is switch.nintendo.com/year-in-review with a hyphen in between year-in-review.
Yeah, and so it'll pull up yours as long as you're signed into your Nintendo account.
Yeah.
So the first statistic is kind of an arbitrary one that Nintendo just gave it to us. It's what kind of gamer are you? I got core gamer.
I am a core gamer as well. Hell yeah.
We are skilled, experienced gamers who are always up for a challenge.
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
It does make me wonder how many of those there are.
How many different categories?
Yeah, I can only assume just like based on like our count for us that like we got maybe core gamers probably like the
highest.
The highest. I don't know. Highest and lowest is not how I would quantify that. Maybe most pitiable.
Yeah,
is what we are.
Well, and all I was gonna say is I don't see Nintendo rewarding more hours than we've sunk in with a new title. So we probably got the.
Yeah, but I do wonder if it's just like core gamer or like casual gamer or like how many degrees there are in between.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be curious to see.
But the next measurement that they gave us was how many hours played on the Switch in 2020.
Yeah. I think I want you to go first.
Okay.
Just because I'm very curious, because I have different theories as to why ours are the way they are.
Huh. Okay. Well, in 2019, I played 612 hours. In 2020, I played 870 hours.
Wow. Okay.
On my Switch.
See, I kind of assumed you would have more than me, and I'm right. In 2019, I had 459 versus your 600 some. And this year, 2020, I had 602.
Wow.
And my general theory as to why that is because you run the podcast. You run Nintendo's podcast, and you've been on every episode, and you're a lot better at like pumping through every new Nintendo release.
Yeah.
You
I stay on Nintendo.
Yeah. You have the wall of Switch games that I like borrow from and catch up on every once in a while these days. I guess maybe I'm a little busier, but also I feel like I've been playing a lot more non-Nintendo this year a little bit. You
are definitely more varied in your video game taste, at least this year.
Yeah, I would say I have a better taste, you know.
Okay, sure.
Right?
Yeah, solid.
But I mean, and I think I still have like a lot of hours, like all things considered, but I think most of it is Smash. Like,
anytime you're online,
yes,
you're playing Smash.
I am playing Smash, and we'll get to like the graphs, like they show like the months and stuff, and I'll explain more then. But I generally playing a lot of Smash this year, and then like a few major releases, like at a couple points.
Right.
But for you, you've been killing it.
I've lived on my Switch. It's true.
What do you think most of that hour count is going to have been?
I absolutely have the answer right here.
Okay.
So the Nintendo.com summary gave you like your top 5 games, and then I cross-referenced that with my profile on my Switch to get my hour counts. And so, most hours played, my first one is Animal Crossing at 195.
Thought so.
Second is Fire Emblem 3 Houses, which I haven't played since the spring and summer, but I did play the fire out of.
Did that come out? Fire Emblem out of?
I played that late.
Okay.
I was late to that party, but I played the heck out of it in 2020.
Interesting.
Third was Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
Forgot about that.
Fourth was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and fifth was Fortnite. So,
yeah.
Animal Crossing definitely took the cake there for me with 195 hours.
So,
that's a lot of time.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess we could do like some theoretical math, but like comparing the hours. But my top 5 games in order are Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That's number 1. Fortnite is second for this year.
Wow.
And I think my roommates play a lot of Fortnite, and whenever they play, it's just fun to pick it up on my Switch and squad up, and it's just quick, easy fun. Like, I'm very much not like heavy into it. I play it casually enough that it just like it's on there.
Yeah.
Next for me is Animal Crossing.
Wow.
Heavy into it for like a few weeks when it dropped, and then I missed one day of progress, and then I never wanted to return to it. Paper Mario's next.
Wow.
A solid like 40-hour experience, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
And then Mario Kart for the same reasons.
Man, you're
Fortnite.
casual.
Guess so. Something like that.
It's not a bad list.
Yeah.
Not a very 2020 list.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've been very bad about playing the newest releases, but my total, just for posterity, I'll share, my total Super Smash Bros. Ultimate hour count, 765.
Oh my
hours.
Gosh. In one game.
And it makes me wonder how many of those are in 2020.
Yeah.
But who's to say? It tells you how many different games you played in 2020 as well. I'm curious, is it in the triple digits?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and...
Yeah.
I played 57 games on my Switch in 2020.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, then I
downloaded a whole lot more. Like, between, I don't know, there's probably 20 unplayed games that I've downloaded from the eShop that I have not touched.
Okay.
But, yeah, 57.
Interesting. I have 31 games played in 2020.
Well, that's not bad.
It doesn't. I was expecting more of like a larger gap between us, just considering with how well you've been keeping up versus me.
Right,
rehashing the classics, I guess. But that's interesting.
We're coming up to my favorite statistic that Nintendo gave me.
Okay. Go on.
It was what day you played the most.
Oh.
They broke it down into months and like what month you played the most in.
Uh-huh.
And this was just the perfect storm, as everybody's said about Animal Crossing. But Animal Crossing came out. I started a 2-week quarantine period, and it's a holiday. 4/20. I played the most Switch on April 20th, 2020.
Oh, what? So, okay, so, audience, pulling back the curtain. You can talk about that, but we can't curse on this podcast? You kidding me?
The kiddos don't know what that means.
Whatever. Good.
Isn't that awesome, though?
I mean...
So just like...
On April 20th? When did Animal Crossing... You said Animal Crossing came out when?
March, I think.
Okay.
End of March. It was like March 27th or something.
Interesting. Okay. So is March or April like your most played month then?
April was, because like I said, I had a 2-week quarantine period then. Animal Crossing was my life during April.
Right. Same, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like during, because we kind of quarantined too, and obviously it really was a perfect storm, even for us non-partakers, as it were.
Yeah.
Just like staying home, crashing, looking at, playing Switch.
Heck yeah.
Relaxing little game.
What was your calendar like?
March also was my highest year. I guess because of Animal Crossing. In retrospect, like, just because I fell off of it so hard, it doesn't feel like I played it that much this year.
Right.
Like, it doesn't occupy that much, like, space in my mind. But I guess I was heavy into it. March and followed by April were my highest months. But then in May, it drops by, like, 80%. Maybe I got into something else or something. I don't remember. But August is when I started catching up. I played Paper Mario.
There you go.
King, which I loved and was heavy into. Yeah, and looking at it too, like, it doesn't even follow necessarily like the Smash character drops. Like when Min Min or Steve came out, like they're still like relatively low. I don't know. Interesting.
But yeah, beyond that, Nintendo's little roundup, it's like what they think you would be interested in. So that's kind of the end of that section for us. But I just thought it would be fun to compare our answers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we move on into our chosen categories? You know, just some discussion pieces for...
Yeah, for sure.
So I actually broke it down into favorite new Nintendo release and re-release. I don't know if that's fair or not.
I don't...
Because there's only like 2 releases.
Total.
And the rest were re-releases.
So I'm not necessarily on the same wavelength as you in regards to the amount of re-releases. We got Xenoblade Chronicles, Pikmin 3...
Super Mario All-Stars.
I mean, I guess there were a lot of third-party remasters, like Burnout Paradise and stuff. I guess there are a few notable ones.
Outer World. Yeah, I mean, 2020 brought a whole slew of, like, 360 and Xbox, you know, kind of like that era games to the Switch. And so, like, again, kind of going back to what I thought of as, like, the year of the ports.
Sure.
Like, I bought the BioShock collection.
Right. And Assassin's Creed we got this year, too. Okay, yeah, I'm following now. I don't know.
XCOM, Borderlands. Did I say all those?
Right. No, but you're absolutely right. Yeah. Huh. So, do you think there's enough, or do you have like substantially enough of a take to have a favorite re-release?
No, but it just feels different. I don't know. So
it feels like a different year.
Yeah.
I guess
maybe. I don't know if it feels like a different year or just if new games are going to be fewer and further between.
I think it was probably generally a result of like the pandemic and like lower effort releases were kind of the move. Remastering old games, not like I'm sure they plan to release these and do these anyway, but just like lower effort releases were easier to pump out this year than others
for sure.
Do you have a favorite?
So What'd you get most out of? My favorite release is tied at Animal Crossing and Origami King. I almost think Animal Crossing deserves it more. I'm not sure. I haven't touched Animal Crossing since July because it got stale and I ruined my town. I overdid my town and it's too much work to undo it. So my Animal Crossing high is over.
what does overdoing your town look like, dare I ask?
When you land at my island and leave the airport, you walk out into like this huge artificial city that I've built with fake walls separating them into buildings and like different signs, and it's like I designed it to look like Broadway in Nashville, essentially, and it looks really cool, but I'm tired of it, and it took so much work to set up, and I know it's a project.
Would you ever pick it back up? Because they've been drip feeding a lot of content for it over the past few months, over the year. I tried every once in a while. I boot it up and I play it for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, the things I really want to do are just difficult and time consuming. Interesting. But I do think fundamentally it's a better game than Origami King. Origami King was awesome and a great game, but Animal Crossing is the more complete package. Incorrect. Ooh, what is your game of the year? So, honestly, like looking through like our collection and what I've been playing, Paper Mario Origami King might be like the only, besides Animal Crossing, I guess, which I continue to forget about. Yeah. Paper Mario is probably like, it might be the only new Nintendo game I've like played this year. That's the thing. Like there's just like not much out there. But I mean, notice I didn't batch in Age of Calamity. It's beautiful and was awesome, but it was not game of the year. Sure, totally. And like neither is Pikmin 3 that you played for the first time. Like I mean, there's a lot to go over this year, even though it feels like a little. But like Paper Mario for me is the most standout. I am a Paper Mario purist at heart. I love the first two, like the RPG ones, and then I have mixed feelings about where the series went after that. And obviously Origami King is like another lateral movement almost in terms of design, but I enjoyed it very much. I thought it was very fun. I loved the aesthetic, the music I still bump to this day. I don't know. I had a really, really good time with it. A better time than I was expecting, given the precedent set by the previous Paper Mario games. Right. It stood out to me, and I think it still would have stood out even if I'd played some of the other games that came out. Purely by virtue of existing, I love Xenoblade Chronicles so much, and I feel like if I'd played the remake, maybe that would have edged that out. It won my re-release category. Okay, cool. Yeah. If that makes you feel any better. Sure. Love Xenoblade so much. Yes. But I just didn't ever feel like I had an 80-hour chunk of time to sink into it over other things again, you know? Of course. But, yeah. So, yes, definite shout-out to Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, the Switch re-release that came out this year. Right. We had a whole episode on it. Be sure you check it out. But, yeah, that was my re-release of the year. Should we go on to Gem of the year? Your favorite retro game that you played? Not necessarily, it doesn't even, we didn't have to even cover it on the podcast, I guess. Cool. That was kind of my question, like something that I like did like an independent study on, sort of, as it were, or something that like is in our Gem Hall of Fame. No, maybe something that we still need to add. Mine happens to already be in the Hall of Fame. Okay. But, what's yours? What you got? Yeah, my favorite gem that we covered was actually part of the Spooky series. It was just something that really stood out to me as one of the games that I felt ashamed that I hadn't, like, paid more attention to. I know where this is going. Growing up, and I look forward to expanding my horizons with the series. That would be Castlevania for the NES. Yes, sir. I really just, I had touched it, but I'd never given it the time that it was due. And it was an awesome experience. Not only the music, which I regretted not explaining in the episode. The music for the game is phenomenal. The gameplay, the mechanics, the layouts. I am fervently nodding my head. Yes, he is. I'm a Castlevania fan, and it took you long enough. I know. Dare I say. 2020 was the year, so Castlevania for the NES, let me be clear, is my gem of the year. Terrific starting point. You got a lot of ground to cover. I'm excited for your journey. Yes, sir. Welcome to the force. Thank you. Great to have you. What about you? What was your gem of the year? There was like this, gosh, it was like a month long. It was during the spring, like the beginning of the pandemic, the quarantine, like when I was a few weeks off of work. that our Wi-Fi at my house was also out. So, like, the playing Smash Online was a no-go. One of my roommates had the Xbox Game Pass that we were using, which was also a no-go now. And so me and my roommate, we resorted to just, like, playing a bunch of old retro games kind of in succession that I had always been meaning to play. And we played Resident Evil 4, Metal Gear Solid 3.
Nice.
Resident Evil 4, which we covered, my first time playing this year. Terrific. Awesome.
Yeah, sure.
But the most... Actually, can I have two?
I suppose.
Okay, am I allowed to do that?
Sure.
Neither of which were covered on the show. But two standouts were Killer 7 for the GameCube.
Wow, okay.
Killer 7, wackiest game you will find on the GameCube, probably, like, period. From the creator of, like, the No More Heroes games.
Right.
Crazy first-person shooter adventure game. Insane. Rated M, not for everybody, but just an extremely memorable and, like, cool, stylish.
That's what I've heard.
Visceral experience.
We need to break that down in a gym.
Definitely.
Okay.
And same for my second one. Long story, but I have a copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day.
That you might not should have.
That I probably shouldn't have. Don't worry about it. It's legal, but I have the cartridge. We finally popped the cartridge in and played through it. A long time coming for me. Like,
I've still never played it.
Yeah, it's an absolute classic. The cartridge is so hard to find, but we finally played it, and it was a lot better than I expected. I expected kind of, because it's for the N64, I expected kind of a dated 3D platformer, kind of clunky, for it to not be as funny as it used to be. But it is really funny. Very, very raunchy, obviously, and like some jokes have not aged super well, but like very witty, surprisingly, and like the gameplay is aged remarkably well.
Yeah.
For like that era 3D platformer. I don't know. It's very much worth revisiting if you ever have the opportunity.
Wow.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, geez, what a waste of a podcast then. Your two picks aren't even...
Whoops.
Logged in the hall.
We'll get to them. They deserve the spots, respectively.
Yes. Well, very good. In exchange for my having played 57 games on the Switch, I don't have a non-Nintendo pick, but have you played any good non-Nintendo games that you'd like to recognize at this point?
You know, on reflection, I'm realizing not many, if not none, that came out this year. Played Fall Guys a lot at the peak of that, which is a lot of fun. Replayed through the Dark Souls series, which has kind of been taking up my time for the past several months. Dark Souls is like my favorite series of all time, favorite game. We'll put the Switch version of Dark Souls in the Gym's Hall of Fame eventually.
It'll get there.
Yeah, a lot of From Software games like Sekiro, Dark Souls has been occupying a lot of time. So like inherently, those are my non-Nintendo picks of the year.
Yeah, that's kind of drawing us to a close. But do you have any ideas of what might be coming up in 2021? What you might be expecting, looking forward to? I have a healthy chunk of games here in front of me that like I could just read off for you if you really wanted, just to. I mean, you can see what's coming.
Sequels on sequels.
Yes, you are correct. Lots of sequels.
So, but before you launch into it, keep in mind whether we're actually going to get them this year.
Right.
If this is the year that we're getting these distant sequels, or if it's just if we're gonna be unlucky again.
Right.
You know.
Well, and first, I'm going to let you know just a couple games that I have in the backlog that I'm looking forward to covering on the podcast, you know, whether we talk explicitly or not. But Splatoon 2 I got for Christmas. I've never played it. Yeah. Burnout Paradise, Cadence of Hyrule, very much looking forward to it. And I'm going to go back and play Breath of the Wild at some point this year. So be looking forward to my perspective on a fresh playthrough of Breath of the Wild. But other than that, slated for 2021, there's No More Heroes 3. Breath of the Wild 2.
I can't believe I forgot No More Heroes. Go on.
That was the first one.
Well, go. I mean, I could have that reaction for probably each that you're going to say.
Yes.
Go on.
Breath of the Wild 2. Bravely Default 2.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to see if I could get into it. I'm not sure that's going to be for me, but we'll see when it comes closer to time. There's a demo. We should check it out.
Sure.
Persona 5 Strikers. Also not for me. That'll be a big Jake thing, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, Bayonetta 3, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Skatebird, Hollow Knight Silksong, and I think perhaps the biggest mystery is Metroid Prime 4.
Yes.
What the heck is going on with that game?
Man.
Do you think it'll happen? 2021?
I don't.
I don't want it to happen 2021.
Ooh.
Like,
Explain.
I mean, if it's going to make the game good, better, than what they have made it sound like it is, or was. I mean, this game has gone through development hell. Like, I mean, they've called in so many new
it's a development
lead developers.
Phoenix. Did you heard about them, like, starting over, right?
Yes.
Insane. Crazy.
And so, like, that's what I mean. I don't want them to... Obviously, they aren't, but I don't want them to sacrifice anything in anticipation of a 2021 release, which I don't think they would do. Rushed. Yeah, I don't... I think we'll see Breath of the Wild 2 before we see Metroid Prime 4.
That is, upon reflection, a very interesting take, but it's one that I guess I've held to. I do feel like... With the relative immediacy that we got an announcement for Breath of the Wild 2.
That was quick.
Yeah, like pretty right off the bat, it felt like, very quickly after the original release. But also, the Breath of the Wild 2 teaser trailer that we got felt also remarkably fleshed out conceptually and, like, developmentally.
Like they'd been working on it.
Yeah, like it felt like it could have been released the following year.
Yeah.
At the time. Obviously, it's been like 2 or 3 years now, and... this could be it, depending on, like, what kind of sequel it is, like how much asset reuse there is.
Yeah.
This could be it. But compared to Metroid Prime 4, which was a title, that is all we got, and that was 5 years ago. And then they restarted developing the game since then. Like, yeah, I could imagine that it's going to be another long while.
Yeah.
And those are honestly the two big ones that I was thinking of. I can't believe No More Heroes slipped my mind. Have you watched the trailers for that?
I have not.
Oh,
looking good.
I'm so excited. They released the first two for Switch.
For Switch, yes. Year of the Port, baby. Year of the Port.
Yes, true. Good point.
Do you have anything else to add? I have one more little elephant in the room that I just want to throw out there for the heck of it.
Okay, go on.
The VGA Game of the Year award has not even been mentioned, and that's possibly a shame. Hades, the game that won Game of the Year,
right.
I have not played.
Me neither.
I intend to. I can't guarantee it'll get a slot on the episode. I feel like it might be past its prime, and it's borderline Nintendo exclusive. It's PC and Switch. There's no other consoles.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean there is some validity to featuring it, but
I do remember it was announced in like a Nintendo Direct. Like that was the first mention. Like it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I feel bad that I haven't played it, and perhaps it deserves a mention. But
also, while we're there, Animal Crossing got nominated for Game of the Year. Worth mentioning too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Shout out, I guess.
So but The Last of Us 2, it lost.
That was surprising.
Yeah.
I haven't played Last of Us 2. I haven't played it yet, which is a shame.
I only play Nintendo, apparently.
Apparently.
Says my year in review.
And you even borrowed the PS4 for a while.
Alright, guys, but on that note, I want to thank you for joining us for a whole nother year of Nintendo Gems.
Yeah. Good year. Good year for us. I mean, like, for the podcast. Like, regardless of Nintendo, like, we
actually made content, like, kind of the whole year almost.
Yeah.
And this summer, we'll be coming into 2 full years of podcasting, so thanks for whoever's been on board.
All of you out there in the ether, wherever you are, thank you.
Thank you indeed. For now, be sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on right now. If you like the song you're listening to, check out Connor's music on Bandcamp. He goes by Weave, W-E-A-V.
And also on Spotify and other major streaming platforms. I have more music out right now that I've released.
With vocals and words.
Actual music, not 8-bit chiptune video game music. Like good songs.
That's right. Alright, guys. Thank you again. This has been Nintendo Gems. My name is Braden.
And I'm Connor.
And we will see you next time.
Peace.
You don't love them this time?
Love you.